This episode of Cognitive Dissonance is brought to you by our patrons. You fucking rock. Be advised that this show is not for children, the faint of heart, or the easily offended. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
Recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago, this is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode we blast anyone who gets in our way. We bring critical thinking, skepticism, and irreverence to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no welcome mat. This is an episode.
It is an episode
of Cognitive Dissonance. Now, there's a reason. It's not just because I get this wrong all the time.
No,
all right, so
it's not just that reason.
It is somewhat
There's part of that reason.
We're using the word just intentionally. It's partially that reason.
Sure,
but I have an excuse, like I always do.
Yeah.
Like I frequently carry with me my pocket of excuses. And this is a pre-recorded episode.
Yeah.
Look, we don't want to leave you guys in a lurch while we're away. Cecil and I are going to be going to Australia.
Yeah.
We're taking some time off, a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Cecil earned it. I'm just piggybacking on his hard work.
He's true. That's true.
It's never not true.
That's real.
It's just never not
real.
true. I do nothing or less than that.
Less than that.
As often
Mostly.
as that hurts.
Very much less.
I can come after me. I don't want you coming
delegate
after me.
well to Megan. That's what you do.
Yeah. So we are taking some time off and we need to record some shows.
Yep.
This is one of those shows that we're recording in the future. So you're listening in the future to the past.
We're recording it in the past for the future.
That's true. We're not recording
This
in the
is
future.
episode 400. Probably not, actually.
No,
it's
I'm
like
certain that it's not.
380 something.
Let's go 388.
Let's go 386.
Okay. That's your guess?
No,
we could do the math
would
and
be
figure it out.
387, I think, maybe. Something
All
like
right.
that.
I'm going to go 388 anyway. Because I like to get it wrong.
388.
So.
We go 388 miles an hour and we go back in time.
Well, we're gonna go like forward or back when we cross the date line.
Yeah, the date line is gonna be crazy.
How does that work? Like we leave on a Friday or like on a Wednesday? We show up on a fucking Friday or something.
We leave on a Friday. Our plane crashes on Saturday night.
Then the smoke monster eats you on a fucking fizzle
I want
day
the
or some
smoke
shit.
monster to eat my ass. That's what I want. So he's blowing smoke up your ass.
I like it.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I want. That's what I want.
I do want to get rimmed by the smoke monster.
Just like, toss my salad. Smoke monster.
I'm just saying, like a rim job by the smoke monster.
Hell yeah! Just spread
I bet
your
it would
cheeks.
tickle.
Get some baby wipes. Spread your cheeks. Call that shit a day.
Baby wipes is polite. It's a smoke monster.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to get fucking E. coli or something.
I mean, he
Fucking
smoked
cares.
worse things like briskets and things. So
it's smoke. Like what has he got? Like a fucking immune system I have to worry about?
yeah, he's not going to get E. coli from my ass.
Fucking get in there. Get in there, motherfucker. Don't be shy.
It's probiotic, motherfucker.
Like, and don't just go outside the edge. Like I want you fucking in there.
No, you got to go in. You got to dive in.
Just poke.
Got to dive in. Like our sponsor, AdamandEve.com.
Glory hole in extremely long black cock.
Let's go to this story. It's from Right Wing Watch. This is Phil Robertson. Phil Robertson says that AIDS is God's judgment for perversion.
AIDS is God's judgment for perversion. There's a guy on the screen right now in a YouTube 16:9 whose beard does not fit in the 9. It's like the beard gets cut off on the 9. So this is Phil Robertson. He's on another show. It's called The World Over.
Real quick though, like by perversion, he just means gay sex.
Yeah, he just means gay sex.
And he just means male gay sex.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
This guy jerks off. This guy has jerked off to lesbian porn at least 100 times.
Yeah. He's probably got lesbian porn hidden in his beard. Right now. It's like
if I had a beard like that, I would have phones in there that just always had running lesbian porn.
If I had a beard like that, I'd hide in a cuck blind. It's a little different.
We're seeing a slew of women all over the country coming forward with sexual harassment claims against people like Harvey Weinstein. Now,
we love sexual harassment claims when it's against a Democrat.
Yeah,
love
right?
it so much.
When it's Bill O'Reilly, like they're just
nobody
like,
talks. We didn't know what was going on. Bill's fine.
Yeah,
He's
right?
fine.
Wait.
It's those assholes at Fox.
Yeah, a guy pays $45 million to settle lawsuits.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, it's Trump. We don't care.
right?
Hanging Chad, ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. They don't give a fuck. They're like, who gives a shit?
But it's the quote, like the Hollywood liberals, and it's
now
like,
it's
what?
Hollywood liberal.
Yeah, right. Now it's like, what's wrong with America?
Exactly.
It's the same shit that was wrong. This is the same shit that's always been wrong with America.
It's always been wrong, and it will always continue to be wrong. Not only with our country, but with every country.
Right.
On Earth.
I don't know that we ever get past this.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we ever get past this.
Yeah.
Journalists, politicians, people who are in the public eye. Your thought?
That dude is so ugly. Harvey Weinstein, the only way that guy could get sex is by beating off in front of somebody. I mean, look at
Wait
that
a minute.
guy.
Is that sex, though?
I don't know.
If I beat off in front...
It's sex with you.
That's not sex with me.
Well, it's sex with a person.
If somebody beats off in front of me, I'm not counting that. I'm not like notching
If you're on the
bedpost.
train, you're just like, I'll count it. I'll allow it.
You're like sitting there like, wait a minute. Am I still a virgin?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, yeah. Well, they squirted on me.
Right?
I had to bring a poncho like a Gallagher show.
He's a guy who looks always sweaty and disheveled.
He does.
Like he's always got his shirt unbuttoned, but not casually,
he looks
comfortably.
Like he's constantly trying to catch a train.
Right. He just looks like a guy who's like, oh, God, my fucking body is shitty.
Yeah. Or he's fleeing the scene of somewhere.
On whether this might change the behavior, or is the way this is being approached?
What behavior? Nobody approves of rape. Nobody approves of sexual assault.
Well, rapists do.
No, yeah, I mean,
okay,
like very small demographic. Yeah, sure, yeah. And there's like 5 smoke monsters out there that eat ass too. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of them.
Again, none of them return my calls. None of them.
Well, they ate it once. I ain't going back.
No. Maybe shower.
It's the bourbon shits that they don't like. So but
bitch, smoke monster. Fuck you. What do you got? Better choices? Are a lot of people swiping right on you, smoke monster? Eat my ass.
But this like there's no behavior to change. Like the change of behavior is nobody accepts this type of behavior anyway.
Yeah.
This type of behavior is universally reviled by everybody, right? So you go out and you fucking whip your dick out in front of somebody and you whack off in front of somebody. Everybody's just like, nobody wants that. Nobody, like, unless you're at like a fucking, like the back room of a porn shop or something, like that just doesn't happen in real life. Like, unless you're in a place where that's accepted, right? Like you're at fucking like, I don't know, like Eli Bosnick's den or something. like then maybe it's accepted. But
the hedonism resort or something.
In normal circumstances, it's not accepted anywhere. So it's not like you can go. Like people are like, oh man, this Harvey Weinstein really brought this fucking jerking off in front of people to the fore. Nobody's fucking thought it was awesome anyway.
This isn't anybody's Christmas card. Nobody's a Christmas card. Greetings from the Johnsons. And it's everybody's Johnson.
Yeah. You open it up and it not only plays music, but it squirts on you too. It's like a joke card.
Approached, going to just lead to a different manifestation of it?
Well, you have to ask your question. You have to say, folks, can you believe it? There's rank sexual immorality and
in the White House.
Perversion coming out of all places. Are y'all ready? Hollywood, California.
Well, it comes out after the perversion. It kind of drips out of there.
It's gravity.
It's what are you going to do? Get a towel.
Sure.
I don't know what to tell you.
You just got to lay down. You just got to make sure you get the rubber sheets. That's what you want. Rubber sheets, baby oil. Doesn't even matter in the morning. You
White
just power
sheets
wash that
plus
shit.
bleach. You're fine. It doesn't matter what you do.
Is this a stunner or what?
Oh my gosh. The people in Hollywood are fucking... it's like they're just saying, like, all the people in Hollywood are all rapists. It's like, yeah, well, like we said before, it happens everywhere.
Right. Well, but even if that's what he's saying, because I don't even think he said, like, yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, this is not surprising.
Right.
And the fact that it's not surprising is the problem.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. It is the problem that this sort of sexually aggressive and inappropriate harassment behavior is so ubiquitous.
Yeah.
That is the actual problem, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it's not uncommon is the problem.
Sure.
And we should all be upset about the fact that this isn't uncommon.
Sure.
It would be an amazing world we lived in if this was like, whoa, nobody does that.
Yeah. Like, holy shit, someone was harassed
on
the street.
Oh my God, that woman was catcalled for being alive?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a great world.
Yeah.
That would be a great world. The thing is that, like, I'll admit to being guilty of this, like, that's the world that privileged people who don't have to deal with that shit think we live in.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
never going to get catcalled, right? It's never going to happen. And like, I've up until relatively recently, like, and by recently, I mean a few months ago, I never even heard somebody catcalled. I've never heard anybody. I don't live in the city.
Yeah.
So that changes things,
Sure.
right? Nobody catcalls you in the Target parking lot.
Yeah, it doesn't
right?
happen, yeah.
So I don't hear it. And I've always been a suburban guy.
Yeah.
I spend time in the city, but when I spend time in the city, I'm usually going for my car to work or,
Sure.
an appointment,
Sure.
something like that. And if I'm in the city with a woman, she's usually,
she's with you, so nobody's going to do it.
Nobody's going to catcall.
Yeah.
So I'd never heard it before.
Yeah.
And I actually heard it for the first time just a couple of months ago. Like, I was standing outside with Haley and somebody catcalled a woman who was walking by, like the doorman of the hotel that we were staying at. And she's like, see, it happens. I was kind of flabbergasted. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I had no idea. But I get to have the whole point of this is, like, as a dude, it's not going to happen to.
Yeah.
Like, I get to live my life entirely blissfully unaware of this thing
Sure.
ever happening.
Sure.
When in fact it happens fucking constantly.
Yeah.
And that's the point.
And the problem is, and I know that there's going to be somebody who's listening who's going to say, well, what's the big deal, right? What's the big deal of somebody calling out and saying something to a woman when you scream out of a window or whatever and you say, hey, baby, whatever. The problem is, again, you're looking at it from a guy's perspective. Most guys are 20% larger and have way more muscle mass than a woman. Think about it this way. If you're a dude and you're wondering about this right now, think about if you were in a situation where there was a bunch of dudes, all guys, and they were all way bigger than you, and
Right.
they catcalled you.
Right.
How would you feel in that situation?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? I would be. Think about it like in prison, right? You're in prison. There's a bunch of big, strong guys all around you. You're just like you look good. You're like, I don't want to be here. Like, you just like, I mean, just think about it.
Would my voice go up 3 octaves?
It would. Oh, fucking it would.
Yeah, it would.
I don't want to do this.
Solitary confinement for me, please.
Yeah. I'm a cutter. You know what I mean? Like, what I would, but the thing is like, just, and that's the thing is, and this is what's going around huge in the atheist community, at least now, is this empathy thing, right? People are like, well, be empathetic. Just think about it. Just think about it for 10 seconds. And I'm not going to make a big statement about how this is the worst thing in the world or how this is, it's super terrible, but just think about it from their perspective, just for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And think about what it feels like.
Look, all you have to do is look at the sexually transmitted disease rate. Mm-hmm. Center for Disease Control.
Oh, the fact that it's going down?
No, it's going up.
Is it? Really?
Absolutely going up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, it's going up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I looked it up because I was worried. I was like, wow, is he telling the truth or not? So I looked this up.
I thought it had been going down for years.
So gonorrhea has increased by 18.5%.
Okay, that's just in you.
Syphilis has increased by 17.6. Congenital syphilis by 27.6.
Holy fuck.
Chlamydia by 4%. Almost 5%. And I found an article that talked about why this is why is it happening, right? Like, why is the sexual transmitted diseases going up? And they gave 5 reasons. And I'll read the reasons very quickly.
I'm floored right now.
The first reason is there's been a rise in condomless sex among men who have sex with men. So that's something that has been happening more often. STDs are spreading more broadly into populations that weren't traditionally affected, like babies. With the rise of dating apps, it's more readily available and anonymous, which makes it harder for health investigators to track outbreaks. The numbers may be higher because we are better at detecting cases in some groups. And finally, and I think this is one of the biggest reasons, cuts to public health funding mean fewer STD clinics.
Fuck. Because they had, I'm not wrong, they had been declining for a long time.
I think they probably had, yeah. And
now they're on the rise?
Now they're on the rise. They're on the rise again. Because of I think those are all really sound reasons.
Interesting reasons.
Sound reasons why this is happening, right?
Wow.
And the thing is if you read those reasons though to Pat Robertson or Phil Robertson, whatever his name is, Duck Dynasty.
Yeah.
If you read these to Duck Dynasty, he would be like, okay, I don't like condomless sex among men. So he would immediately be like, that's a punishment from God. STDs are spreading more broadly into populations that weren't traditionally affected, like babies. Again, he would probably say that's a punishment from God. Rise of dating apps, sex is more readily available and more anonymous. Again, this punishment of God.
Right.
Numbers may be higher because we're better at detecting cases in some groups. That's a wash.
Yeah, he would dismiss that.
Just dismiss it. And then cuts the public health funding, mean fewer STD clinics. He doesn't like people with STDs anyway, so he thinks that they probably shouldn't have these.
Well, accept your punishment.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
The thing
That's
is,
your
like,
punishment.
If it is, and that's problematic too. Like these guys who think that STDs are a punishment from God.
Right.
They're not going to fund these clinics because if you are being punished, you accept your punishment, right? Like I'm thinking about like when I was a kid. If my dad punished me, the expectation was that I was going to accept that punishment, right?
Yeah.
And I fucking did, because if I didn't, he'd double or triple down on whatever it was that was coming down the pipe, right? If he grounded me for a week and I went out anyway, I'll be grounded for 2 months.
Sure.
Right? Just solid. He'd be like, fucking, I grounded you for a week. You didn't make it 7 days.
Yeah.
Enjoy the next 60, right? 100% true he would have done that.
Sure.
These guys want you to accept your punishment.
Yeah.
And if syphilis is your punishment and it comes from God, fuck you, enjoy syphilis.
Yeah.
You deserved it, right? Because you can only get punished by God for things you deserve to have.
What's interesting, though, is that they also think that masturbation is a sin, right? They also think that me beating off is a sin. And I can't get fucking an STD unless I fucking beat off with a cut off leper's hand or something. Like, I don't know how you get.
It's
niche.
weird.
It's niche. It's niche. Let's not kink shame here, Tom. Okay? But seriously,
you know, I'm going to kink shame that one. No, I'm going to kink shame that one.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah. It's like a cat's paw, but
I'll give you that one, and it'll take a little too. Give and take. You don't get an STD from this, but it's still sexual immorality in their opinion. Masturbation.
Yeah.
You know, looking at pornography, whatever it is that gets you off. You know, like, that's still sexual immorality, but that one is like, oh, well, I guess since you didn't come in contact with anybody naturally, God can't do anything about it. Right.
But, you know, I think like the sin of masturbation, a lot of these guys are getting away from that. They don't talk too much.
Yeah.
I think if you were to ask them, sure, but they're not making a public
deal
issue
out of it. That's
right?
true. Yeah. It's true. But it strikes me as a little inconsistent. You know?
It is.
Yeah.
But how the fuck would you police that either? You know?
Right.
Oh, you want to argue with me? Well, look up the Center for Disease Control. I know their stats. I check them from time to time. 110 million, to answer your question, 110 million.
You just check one stat. Is it monostat?
Is it? Yeah.
Americans at any given time have a sexually transmitted disease. Worldwide, almost 40 million, 35 to 40 million individuals are now deceased because of AIDS that's caused by perversion.
Wait, a man having sex with a woman is perversion?
Or like, I mean, is he saying that drug use is perversion?
Yeah. Maybe
because that has nothing to do necessarily
There's a lot of ways you can get.
Or just
getting a transfusion is perversion.
And there's a ton of people that are just born.
Yeah.
And they're just born HIV positive.
Yeah.
So like, what was their perversion? Like, I mean, I guess they touched a vagina on the way out.
Sure. Yeah.
Fucking gross. Fucking nasty vagina touching babies. Like, what the fuck?
like making it talk on the way.
They come out and just give it a slap on the exit.
There you go.
Behavior. I'm not making this up. You say it's dangerous to your health. Well, yeah. So to answer your question, just look at the sexually transmitted disease rate and say, you know what? This is really, they receive in themselves the due penalty for their perversion.
See?
Yeah.
They receive.
He's talking about gay sex.
You're right. He's talking about gay sex.
That's 100% what he's talking about. Because it's they.
And
who's the they?
And also sex out of wedlock, I think he's probably talking about too.
You think so?
Yeah,
or do you think it's just,
I think so. I think that these people all just talk about sex out. They talk about all kinds of non-marital sex, no matter what it is, as perversion.
What if you have sex, but you only have sex with married people? Then it's sex in wedlock. I mean, they're in wedlock.
They're in wedlock,
right?
Sure.
It's not your wedlock necessarily, but it's someone's wedlock.
You say it really is physiologically debilitating. So I think
disease is physiologically debilitating.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
0 out of 10 doctors recommend diseases.
You don't go in and get disease samples from your doctor.
The doctor's never been like, have you tried disease?
You know, you're getting migraines, but would you really like some pus leaking out of your penis? No, that sounds terrible. Well, have you tried chlamydia?
Here, we'll just inject you with...
I don't know what it does. I don't know how pus comes out of your pee. I don't know what sexually transmitted disease causes that, if any.
The Weinstein thing, everyone needs to remember, he can be forgiven. We all can.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're in a trap that they...
I think that's a problem.
Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about that for a second. Like
if Harvey Weinstein is guilty of all that stuff, I don't want to forgive him.
Yeah.
I want to be like, no, you're a scumbag.
Well, the Christians have a forgiveness problem. They got to get over that shit. Forgiveness is problematic. Like, forgiveness perpetuates this kind of behavior by saying, like, you can be a terrible person and then later decide, oh, I feel sorry about it. Yeah. And now it's okay.
Right.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
What you did was never okay. No amount of I'm sorry's and gosh darn shucks is ever going to make that woman less violated.
Right.
Right. It's not. And there is no after the fact rationalization or moment of emotional catharsis that is ever going to say, you didn't do these things. You didn't hurt people. You didn't victimize these people.
Right.
You're a bad guy because of the things you did.
Sure.
Those things reflect on your character. If you do things like this, and it's not the same thing as fucking up with good intentions and apologizing or even being like, oh, it slipped my mind. Like, those are not things that require forgiveness, right? Even if they might require an apology. Right. Forgiveness is character defect. Forgiveness is I hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is you cause somebody grief and harm. Those are things you need to be forgiven for. These guys are too ready to forgive. I can't forgive.
No, you can't forgive
somebody. I can't forgive Harvey Weinstein, right?
Yeah.
Because he didn't agree with me.
Sure.
So I have no business forgiving him. Right. Like, I'm not in that equation. Right. So if somebody behaves morally reprehensibly and then they change, I think it's entirely reasonable for other people to meet that person, the new version of that person, and be like, yeah, I mean, like, you see, like all indicators point to this is a good person.
Sure.
Like, and you can even know these things about their past, perhaps, and say, like, okay, you know, I'm willing to say the person I know versus the person from their past, they're not the same. Right. I don't think I'm the same person I was 20 years ago.
Right.
I know that I'm not. But I also think, like, if I am the aggrieved, first of all, I have no responsibility to forgive. And then I also think that, to be perfectly honest, and I can only speak for myself, were I severely aggrieved by someone, short of forgetting that it happened, I could never truly forget. I might not be angry. I might let go of that, you know, I don't want to walk around with a bunch of anger, but, like, just because you're not angry doesn't mean that that you don't see that person and think less of them because of what they've done. And if you do think less of somebody, you haven't forgiven.
Sure. Yeah.
They can't get out of.
Right.
We remind people sin's a problem. And I mean, it can really cause you some physical debilitating diseases while you're here.
Your life.
So sin caused that, not having sex.
Right.
Yeah.
Just sin in general.
Just sin.
Just whatever. Like what? Like graven images?
Sure. Looking at your neighbor's ass or his wife's ass.
My neighbor's ass? Mediocre at best. He's just not my guy.
I do like my neighbor's donkey when it's in the naughty secretary outfit. I will say that.
The nice thing?
Hot.
Those ears.
Yeah.
Those ears.
In the naughty witch outfit. Big fan.
There you go.
Naughty, gorgeous women a wrestling outfit. Love that one.
That's a good one. That's a little muscly for me.
That's a good one.
You know,
donkey is a fucking muscular creature. You just got to embrace it.
Donkey does hella squats.
Donkey's coming off the top rope.
So sin's a problem, and physical death comes to us all. We are all going 6 feet deep in a hole, as surely as I'm sitting here. Or cremated and scattered out across some pond. You say, Jesus comes down, removes our sin, guarantees we can be raised from the dead by his resurrection. So
what a weird belief.
That is.
What a weird belief. So I had this meat that I was in my whole life, and this meat then falls apart and dies, and my meat that was me isn't me anymore.
No.
And then suddenly Jesus comes back and does reparative surgery, and boom, there you is with Jesus. Like, that's a weird belief.
I do honestly think, like, if you strip away all the flowery ancient language and you just say out loud what most of these, I've never heard one that doesn't. What these religious beliefs are, they all sound insane.
Yeah.
They all sound totally crazy. It's the obfuscating language of antiquity that makes it seem viable to some people, I think, because it's confusing and you're like, wait, what the fuck? I got to look up all these and that. But if you just say like, write down on like
what he just said, what he just said,
it sounds crazy.
Like, that's The Walking Dead. We made a show about that. That's not a good thing.
Right. It's like, it's almost like you want to be like, explain it to me like I'm a space alien.
Yep.
And then if you do, and it doesn't sound insane, maybe I'll bite. Yeah. Right. But I don't know one of them that doesn't sound insane.
And that's the thing is like when I used to believe that stuff, it was never that it was a physical body that was getting raised up. It was
I never understood that.
Like raising me from the dead. Like that sounds, when he says that sounds crazy. Cause I always thought like, well, when I was religious, I always thought like it's like the movie Ghost when he gets fucking killed and then he stands up and he chases after the robber and then you come back, you're like, oh fuck, that's my body. And then you're like, uh-oh, I'm not in it. You know what I mean? Like, and then so I always thought that there was like, just like the movie, like in the movie Ghost where the guy gets hit by the car and his ghost ejects out of his body or whatever. It's like, that's what I always thought. I was like, oh yeah, just like you just eject out of your body and now you're just like, this is me. I'm really me. That's just the meat. And then I'm gone. And that's what I used to think. Like I was like, there was a ghost inside of me, a spirit inside of me that would just disappear.
I guess I always thought that was the traditional religious belief is that your non-corporeal self is the thing that lived on and the meat just returns to the earth.
That sounds like he's talking about like, the meat.
Tell people that. And I said, listen, if you have a better story, what is it?
Here's my better story. That didn't happen, nor will it happen. That's my better story. I just wrote it. It literally took me 2 seconds to write it. None of that's going to happen. That's my better story.
Watership Down is a better story. Like it's about rabbits that talk and have wars with each other.
Dude. Fucking Eli's blog is a better story.
Hey. No, it's not.
You see, there are demons in the earth. Read Mark's Gospel, chapter 5. There are demons all over where, and Jesus cast out demons when he walked the earth.
All right, this article is from The Sun. The devil's work.
I know.
U.S. Catholic Church plans to translate exorcism how-to guide into English for terrified priests.
I wonder if they have that in it, like it's just images and there's that confused IKEA guy that the shelf always falls on. It's like, that guy's just like, oh, he's got like a cross and like there's a pentagram. It's like a fucking, like a cartoon demon is coming at him.
And it's just like, he's like, Urka, Urka, Urka. It's like a fucking 800, the Vatican number that you can call. And it's like, oh, I can't fight it myself. Get two IKEA guys to fight the demon.
There's somebody's head spinning around and you see all the question marks around his head. Like,
you're like paging through. It's like, there's got to be a version with words. Fuck. Like, God, I hate this fucking thing. I don't think in pictures.
You get the Catholic priest on the line. He's like, I didn't draw the diagram, sir. I'm sorry.
I want the how-to guide.
Yeah.
Like, but I want the quick start version.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, like the one that's before the user manual, the quick start version.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you buy something and it comes with a quick start guide and then like a 47-page fucking manual, have you ever gotten to the manual past the quick start guide?
I don't normally look at a lot of guides or manuals, to be perfectly honest.
I don't either.
Yeah.
And like, if I have to look at something, it's the quick start guide,
course, yeah.
right? I've never had a thing where I've been like, I went through the quick start guide and then moved on. Just give me the quick start guide.
I will say that I read all the manuals for all the audio equipment in here, but that doesn't, still don't understand it. I read it, but I didn't understand it.
I bought a pressure cooker and it had very specific instructions on how to set it up.
Sure.
I didn't follow any of those. And the house didn't explode.
Everybody's dead. There's an interesting comment in here. It says the number of exorcisms taking in the U.S., that doesn't make any sense. The number of exorcisms taking in the U.S. is estimated to have quadrupled in the last 10 years. So I'm guessing the number of exorcisms that have taken place in the U.S. And I think there's a corollary between the number of ghost shows that have also occurred. Because there's that's not just quadrupled. There's entire channels. Like there's this Destination American channel that Sarah watches. Every single show, Tom, I'm not even kidding. Every single show is a ghost show.
Really?
Like every single show is a ghost show.
Really?
Every single, they got like Ghost Brothers. They got.
Wait a minute. Is it hosted by ghosts?
It's
Two
hosted.
ghost
It's
brothers?
hosted by 3 black guys that are like, oh hell no, the whole time. I'm not even kidding. That's
what I would watch.
I've seen the lineup, and so what it is it's
Ghost Brothers. Is so
they go and fucking like investigate houses. So they'll go to like one of those places and be like, oh hell no, the fucking EPG thing, bro, and they're like hitting each other, or whatever, like so these guys go do a thing, but then there's also the ghost stories, because there's like 10 other ghost stories. There used to be celebrity ghost stories or whatever.
I thought that show was funny as hell,
and
that show cracked me up.
They did a dozen more of those. So now it's like My Ghost Adventure and My Ghost Apocalypse and My Ghost this, whatever it is. There's like a million fucking shows. And then there's also the Lock Us In Overnight shows. And there's like 10 of those different shows.
Where they like lock them in an insane asylum after dark or something?
Not really. Like so this guy cut up his girlfriend and put her in the oven. We're going to stay the night in the house that he did it in. And so then they stay the night, and then they do like the fucking readings. And then they're like, somebody will like hear a board squeak and be like, what is that? What's that? What's that? And it's like constantly, what's that? What's that? What is that? What's that? And so you just see these guys and they show them like they have like fucking night vision cameras. So they're always like fucking popping up and like, oh, what was that? What is that? So it's like fucking, and these guys are like shouting. It doesn't matter whether they're shouting like regular or Latin at the darkness. It's always Jesus at the darkness. And that's the other thing that people don't understand, is that not only have these shows increased, but look at every single psychic show. Look at every single crossing over show. Look at every single one of the ghost shows. They all revolve around Jesus. Whenever you want that ghost to go back, you say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. In Jesus' name, I send you. It's always going back to Jesus. It never is like, in Allah's name, I send you somewhere, or in fucking like some
Carl
pagan
Sagan's
god.
name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
And I invoke Pi Day or whatever. It's like, it's just fucking. It does not.
This whole world is demon haunted.
It doesn't, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter. And it's like, it's always Jesus. It's always Jesus. And look at those psychic shows where the woman is always like talking about, that medium, that Long Island medium was always talking about Jesus constantly. And then, so this is, and it's because it's our culture, right? I would imagine, and I don't know if this is true, but if you are in another country that Christianity isn't the main thing, and they have these shows, are they shouting Allah be gone, or are they shouting?
I bet they don't have these shows.
They probably don't. I don't think.
They don't allow this kind
I don't think they do. But again, like, I'm wondering, like, is it another culture? Like, is it a culture? Like, what if it's an Asian culture and they're doing this? What are they shouting at the darkness there?
Yeah,
what
about
I mean?
Jews? Like, how do they get rid of? I'm actually being serious.
Yeah.
Like, what's the Jewish equivalent? Is there a Jewish equivalent to possession? And because like, and I don't know fucking dick all about Bible demons or whatever, but like, I know that in the New Testament there's plenty of demons. They pop into pigs, and Jesus chucks them off a cliff and all that kind of garbage. But like, I wonder, like, is that stuff primarily a New Testament sort of reading?
Yeah. I wonder too if it's more culturally Christian countries that do this, although I know for sure that in the Quran or in the Muslim culture specifically, because when I remember doing a comparative religions class where it talked about it, they have the jinns and afrits and things like that are like.
But do they possess people?
I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't get that far into it, so I don't know. But it's interesting that the thing that gets them away here in our part of the world is the most popular religion, right? Not one of the other religions. And I wonder if that's the converse in another area of the world, that the most popular religion is what you use against those.
I wonder if that idea of demon possession doesn't have some root in like, in a desire to find a way not to be responsible for your bad actions, right? Doesn't it seem very evidently constructed?
I think more it feels like a way that an ancient people would define either a mentally challenged or insane person. Right. That's how I see demon possession.
I guess, so I 100% agree with you. I'm thinking more of like the sort of like modern incarnation of the micro demons.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like we have all those like, all the little demons now, like the demons of I done cheated on my wife, right? And the demon of, I eat too much fucking fried food. And the demons of, because there's demon, like people will blame demon possession for every poor life decision that they make.
Sure.
Right. And then because it's sort of the sin and salvation issue, right? Like it's a demon, the demon's gone, and now it wasn't my fault in the first place, and I'm forgiven, and I was never responsible in the beginning. Right. There's so much responsibility shirking that's part of this. It's so funny for like a guilt-based religious belief.
Yeah.
They have so many get out of I done did it cards. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, for sure. There's always a wild card, something new I can get out of trouble for.
Now, here's what I want you to understand here. He says, look, when you sacrifice a child to an idol, you are sacrificing that child to demons. That's the word that's used right here in the scripture. I looked it up in the Hebrew lexicon. You know what that word demon means? It means demon.
Well, it's a good thing that there's a how-to guide, Cecil, because this story's from the Huffington Post. Catholic priest conducts spiritual cleaning of Las Vegas shooter's hotel room. So somebody let that guy in.
Yeah.
You know, like pause and think about that for a second. Somebody was like, oh yeah, we got to get the maid in here because there's blood all over everything. That's kind of gross. And there's fucking the carpet's all burnt from the fucking spent shells and what have you. Oh, we also got to get a priest in here because there's fucking bad juju in the fucking bed sheets or whatever.
Sure.
Where does the evil, where does it live? Is it in the air?
I don't know.
Is it in the, like?
Well, in this story, this guy says this priest goes up to the room and he says he felt like something was pushing him out of the room when he went in. So evidently the room itself still had something, in his opinion, that was a residue of the demon, or, you know, there was something there that was pushing him out of the room. So there was a residual spirit.
Maybe she just coughed.
I'll tell you what, in 10 years, they're going to upcharge for that room. I guarantee it.
Right?
I guarantee it. Look at all these other murder rooms. And I don't know, maybe 10 years is a little short, but look at all these. I mean, every single murder room or scary room is $100, $200 upcharge in every single place all across America. There's haunted tours and haunted rooms that you can upscale and pay up a lot of money for. So this would be one of those rooms. It's a mass murder room.
God damn.
There's a chance.
I would expect a discount in that room, but you're right.
There's a chance that they'll upcharge. Now, I guess initially they probably won't.
Right.
But there's a chance that they're going to upcharge for it.
A long time ago, I worked in a building and there was a dentist office next to my suite. And the dentist office had an employee who quit. And I guess the employee was troublesome in some way or whatever. And no shit, the dentist hired the building security to come in on a Sunday, shut the fire alarms and everything in the entire building off, block off my floor so that nobody else could go on it, and had somebody come in and do a cleansing with sage, burning sage. And because remember, I used to work like 1 million hours. We work like 7 days. So I'm there and it's like a Sunday and it stinks.
Stinks like a
to fucking high heaven. It does.
Yeah.
It does. It's like somebody burnt Thanksgiving dinner. And I'm like, the fuck is going on? And I go out there and there's a fucking medium or whatever. I don't know, she's pretty large, but she said she was medium. I'm not, you know, and she's
not a medium.
And I was like, honey, no. It's like that sage came out of the turkey from her car. Like she just like,
I don't want to waste it. It smells like turkey grease, ma'am. So they saged it up, huh?
She did it. She was doing chanting and stuff, and she was shaking her sage through the whole, because I guess the guy, like he had a toxic employee or something and wanted to rid the building of her presence. Oh, gosh. Fucking sage smoked her out. This fucking magical thinking, like he should just revise his hiring practice. Like it's just a waste of time and money, right? Like what he should do is be like, I'm not good at hiring.
Yeah.
I made a bad hiring choice. I need to get a consultant to help me make better hiring decisions.
Yes.
I need to learn how to, but we don't solve our problems properly.
Many better ways to do that. There's
Same
so
thing
many
with
better
this.
ways.
Like, we're not going to have any gun control. We're going to have magic solutions to scary rooms. You fucking kidding me? In a year, we'll still be able to buy a bump stock.
Yeah. In the year, you'll still be able to buy 48 guns at a gun shop.
Right.
And 10 million rounds of ammunition, and then nonchalantly bring that up to your room wherever you're at.
Right.
Yeah, of course. You know, it's interesting too. They talk about how it's a demon, right? How there's a demon here, or I got to go and do this exorcism. It's because I think that people don't want to believe that we're capable of this, right? We humans are capable of this. But the converse is also true. How many times do people hear, oh, you're an angel, oh, you're my guardian angel, when you do something selfless? That happens too, right? There's all this like humans are sort of like this, in their opinion, is just this sort of like middle of the road. You're not capable of the really good, and you're not capable of the very bad.
The divine has to intervene
in some way. Those two things are not in our grasp. It's it's the middle of the road shit we're fine at, but when it comes to being selfless, that's not you. That's you being possessed by some sort of angel. And then if you're being selfish in a very horrific way, like this guy was, you're being, you're possessed by a demon. We can't presume that human beings are capable of those things.
Like, do you think that I feel like the demon thing is way more.
Oh, I think it's way more.
Right? Than the angel thing.
Sure. But like, I want to play just a quick example. I'm on a Facebook group. It's for Ishmael's podcast, actually. And one of the moderators of that group told a story about how she was walking down the street and she saw a homeless woman who was out in the rain, cold and shivering. And so she took her coat off and she said, here's my coat and my last $13. You can have this. She just had $13 on her. Here's my last $13. And the lady said to her, well, I don't want to take your last money. And the lady who is in the bulletin board is like, it's not my last money. It's just what I have on me, but you can have it, just have that money. And the lady said, you must be an angel from God. You must be an angel. And then she gets corrected because the woman who's giving her these things is an atheist.
Right.
And then the lady who's getting the woman on the street who's receiving them is like, oh, I always thought you people were stuck up. I always thought that you wouldn't care. And her response was, no, we care just as much as anybody else,
right? Yeah.
We care just as much as everybody else. And that's this, I've how many times, I've given money and they'll say like, God bless you, or, those sorts of things. Like the charity part of us, that part of us, religion takes the credit for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's sort of the Santa Claus problem, right? Like all the best gifts come from Santa, right? And it's like, motherfucking Santa isn't
sucks.
real and does not have a credit card.
And Santa doesn't have to work to pay this credit card off.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. There ain't no fucking elves working hard. No elves are pulling fucking long shifts. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Santa waking up in fucking February on a Wednesday when it's 200 degrees below zero to go to work? No.
Exactly. Fucking Santa.
Fuck that guy.
Ready to stick it in the glory hole? Get links to their Facebook, Twitter, and if you still use it, Google Plus account at their website, dissonancepod.com. If you need to be all discreet about it, contact them by email at dissonance.podcast@gmail.com. Or you can call and leave a ransom message at 740-74-DOUBT. That's 740-743-6828. Want to hear Cognitive Dissonance commercial free and gain access to exclusive content, including full patron-only shows? Head to patreon.com/dissonancepod and become a patron to support the show on a per-episode basis. Love commercials? Not ready to become a patron? Give the guys a 5-star review on iTunes or Stitcher. Or tell your buddies in the drunk tank about the show. We want to send a big sloppy glory hole to all the patrons and people who rate us. You fucking rock.
Oh my God. This is fucking nuts.
This is great stuff.
This is from Right Wing Watch. This is fucking nuts. This is Carl Gallups. Trump allied pastor says women are sexually assaulting men by dressing provocatively.
Yeah. All right, so here we go.
If a woman wears sexually suggestive clothing around a man, is that not also sexual assault?
No. Can we stop there?
Yeah. You could wear nothing.
Yeah.
You could wear crotchless panties, and you're not sexually assaulting me because I saw you in them.
I saw you in crotchless. I mean, that would basically mean that every time you went to a strip club, you would be being sexually assaulted.
Right. And like, what is sexually desirous for what gets somebody off is different from person to person, right? Like, I'm using an extreme example, obviously, but like, like some people are turned on by fucking a librarian outfit, right? And some other people are turned on by just a dress, or like, there is no like one thing we all agree is sexually provocative. First of all, that's a problematic, stupid, and myopic idea that clearly doesn't understand how sex and sexuality works. And also, like, it's never sexual assault when you happen to see someone.
Yeah, when you just look at somebody, unless they are performing a sexual act on themselves,
Right.
then it's sexual assault.
And the thing is, like, yes, like,
if I'm on a train and a girl starts fingering herself in front of me, that's sexual. She's
assault.
Sexually assaulting me.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Or like if she flashes you intentionally, right? Like, yes, that would be like, you know, same thing as if I pulled my dick out, right?
It's sexual assault.
It's sexual assault.
Yeah.
Yes, that is, but that's not what that's clearly not what he's addressing, right? Yeah.
Men are visually stimulated and unwanted stimulation.
So are women.
Yeah.
People, human creatures are visually stimulated. It's one of the 5 senses we get to stimulate.
Right.
Should meet an unwanted. Men are visually stimulated and unwanted stimulation should meet the basic definition of assault.
No.
You know, men are also stimulated by smell. And I've always been messing this up. I always thought it was aromatherapy, but it's aroma the rapey. I never knew that.
That's actually the mascot for aromatherapy. Hey, everybody, I'm Aroma the rapey. It's like, drives up like with fucking lavender oil in a windowless van.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a candy bar and a fishing pole.
I'm not condoning bad behavior by men, but women need to understand that by walking around in their little sister's skirt, they are guilty of indecent visual assault on a man's imagination.
Assault on my imagination?
What?
Oh, this guy's going down the worst road to go down. Assault on my imagination? That's imaginary assault. It's not assault.
Never even happened. Walking around in your little sister's skirt.
Yeah. In other words, this is the problem of the uncontrollable male libido,
exactly right.
And this is a crazy insulting concept.
And they're gonna say we should be totally in control. So I'm gonna caveat ahead of time. I know how this clip ends, and at the end, these guys do say, you know, we should be in control at all times, but they're also saying we can't control ourselves, right? So they're talking out of both sides of their mouth on this thing.
And like, I don't care. Again, like, it matters not a whit to me.
Yeah.
How attracted I am to somebody that I happen to see.
Yeah.
That should not influence my behavior to act poorly. And it is not a provocation.
Right.
And here's the difference. Whether I act on that quote unquote provocation or not, it's not a provocation.
Sure.
No matter what somebody wears, that's not a provocation that I am somehow resisting, right? And I think that there's because we've heard some variation of this argument 100 times. The fact that somebody happens to be wearing something I find alluring does not create a provocation that I have to respond to.
If it does, you shouldn't be there. Right? Yeah. Like, that's on you if you can't control yourself to be around other people. You need to make sure that doesn't happen. That's on you.
Right. But when I think of like that word provocation, to be provoked.
No, I understand.
Right?
I understand. You're defining the word and saying it's not provoking me. But I'm saying if somebody is out of control just because they see someone, that's on you.
Go live
That's
in a
not
box.
on anybody else. That's on you.
Yeah.
That's your fault.
Right.
That's your fault for depriving yourself or whatever you're doing to yourself so that when you see somebody who's attractive, you can't control yourself. That's not nobody's fault but your own.
And that's fucking weird.
It's weird.
You're bad at society.
Yeah.
You need to go live on an island or a box or something.
Yeah.
You can't be around people now.
Yeah.
Which does cause mental anguish and torment, especially on men who are really trying to live in harmony and respect toward women. When a man sees a naked or partially dressed woman, a chemical reaction happens in his brain.
Look, when everything is a chemical reaction in my brain. I'm a bag of fucking chemicals. Everything is a chemical reaction. I smell cheeseburger. There's a chemical reaction.
Right?
The fuck out of here with that shit.
So
control your chemicals. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, are you a little kid? Do I gotta swat you across the nose like a fucking dog? Control yourself.
The entirety of the entirety of sexual desire and experience for this guy boils down exclusively to seeing.
Yeah. Seeing a boobie.
It has nothing to do with like the interaction among people. Like, it has nothing to do with that at all. It's entirely fucking visual, Would the guy fuck a painting? Like, are you kidding me?
Well, and the other thing that he keeps saying is like when you see a naked woman, you're just like, well, being naked in public is illegal.
Right.
Like,
nobody
does that.
Yeah.
No women are walking around being like, look at me, I'm all naked. You can't touch these. Like they don't fucking like waggle their tits at you while they're walking across the street being like, I'm fucking immune to you. You can't put your hands on me. Doesn't this frustrate you? This is this weird, like fucking crazy off the wall shit where people think like women are out to get them and like women are out to entrap them into something. And it's just like, how about they just want to be people? How about they just want to exist and they don't want some guy fucking hitting on them 24/7?
Like we shouldn't have to have, and you don't have a strategy as a man for how you deal with women.
Yeah.
Like women are half the population. You have the same strategy for how you deal with anybody else. You just behave yourself in social situations. Like not every interaction between a man and a woman is a sexually charged interaction. That's weird. That makes you weird.
Neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin are released, giving him an involuntary surge of pleasure. Notice the word involuntary there.
He is making every excuse to assault women.
I know, because he's like involuntary. I didn't mean to grab her ass. I didn't mean to choke that guy to death. I didn't mean to drive my car into those pedestrians. It was involuntary. I had a chemical surge. Sorry, you go to jail for chemical surges, dude.
There's never been a time where somebody was so attractively dressed or so attractive to me that I behaved involuntarily. Right. I've never behaved involuntarily.
I will say that my eyes may have behaved involuntarily sometimes. Like you're like, don't look, gotta look. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple times
but a discreet look is not the same.
But there's been times I've told myself, don't look. And then I'm just like, gotta look. Like my body's like, no, who's looking? You're looking. But that thing is my eyes stay in my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're not rolling on somebody else. They're not touching.
That's a huge difference, right? And like the thing is like involuntary. Sure. Like you might even get a fucking erection involuntarily. Like, but you didn't, like nobody has to fucking know.
Sure.
Put your fucking algebra book in front of your pants.
Put your algebra book
in front of you. The fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. They just like stand up. They got their dinner plate in front of it. They go to the bathroom. Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, God, go to the bathroom.
Right.
That's my favorite plate.
Why are you always holding coat when you walk out? Don't worry about it.
Here it goes. Leave me alone. Get a wet spot on your jeans there, bro.
Men are in a state of constant sexual assault by women who either don't understand the severity of what they're doing
because they're teases.
Because, it's cute and they like the attention.
Because they're teases.
Or worse, they do know the feelings
because they're teases.
And like the control they have over men.
Because they're teases.
No woman has any control over me because I'm sexually attracted to them.
Exactly.
There's not a single woman in the world that has ever had a fucking iota of control over me because I'm attracted. I don't care how fucking I don't care if I'm in the middle of having sex with that person. Nobody has ever had control over me because I'm sexually attracted to them. That is a damn hell ass lie. That is the bullshit excuse of weak men.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's just like it's just all it is just saying I'm weak. That's all it's saying.
Right.
Yeah.
If it was reversed, if a guy in an office setting, say, where professional dress was expected, but then the next thing you know, he goes into the bathroom and comes back out with a very sexually suggestive outfit, whatever that would be, and started parading in among.
Pause it for a second, because let's be honest, like there is not the same kind of analog. The gender reversal here doesn't work properly.
And the reason why the gender reversal, I think, doesn't work is because guys are the ones who decide what the dress code is.
Right.
That's why. Just look at how dress codes work wherever you're at. Guys don't wear shorts. Guys don't wear flip-flops. Guys don't wear, I can't wear a kilt to work. Like those things, I can't do any of those things, right? But a girl, look at how girls are dressed. Girls are dressed a lot more, there's a lot more skin showing because they weren't the ones making the rules.
Right. Well,
they can wear more, but they can also wear less. And during the summer, I'll be perfectly honest, I have a business casual dress that's allowed during the summer. I'm allowed to wear jeans and I'm allowed to wear like pull-up polo shirts or whatever. Like I'm not allowed to wear like a t-shirt, but I'm allowed to wear like a polo shirt. It's like business casual. Yeah. I'm supposed to come in a button-down shirt and slacks every day, but during the summer it's a lot more lax. I can wear jeans. I am not allowed to wear shorts, but every girl on my floor wears dresses. And they wear dresses because it's fucking hot out.
Right.
And it's a tube outfit. And there's fucking airflow that can get in there that I can't fucking have access to. If I could wear a tube outfit and get away with it, I would wear a tube outfit to work. Like, of course I would. That's ridiculous.
Look, it's also the case that like you said, like men set the dress code.
Right.
When I think men recognize that, like, let's say the dress code is a suit, right?
Yeah.
Well, men look like that's a power outfit, right? And a lot of sex and sexual dynamics is power related. And men look good in suits and they fucking know they look good in suits. That's the sexually alluring version, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, I wore a suit and I went into the bathroom and I changed into something
Changed into my banana warmer.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the banana warmer isn't sexually attractive.
Yeah.
The suit was the sexually attractive outfit,
Sure.
which is why it's the thing you mandated.
Absolutely.
So you looked good at it. You already mandated the outfit that you know projects power and masculinity and all
Yeah.
the rest of
Yeah.
it, right? Yeah, so you're already doing it.
Yeah.
You're already doing
the
it.
exact same thing. It just so happens that the women's outfits are less revealing and the guys' outfits, because guys' bodies are made of garbage, are more not as revealing.
Right. A man looks better.
A man looks
when
better.
He covers up.
A man looks better in a fucking pile of clothes. In a literal, like if you dump a laundry basket on a man, he looks way better than he ever looked without any clothes on.
Most men would look better if they were wearing a different, better looking man.
Exactly.
Like, that's
Men dressed basically in a snowman of clothes. If you're in a snowman of clothes, you're the best looking guy in the room.
Amongst the women that he worked with, I guarantee you there would be sexual harassment claims, sexual, even some would try to make sexual assault claims.
If a guy came out of the bathroom after he took his suit off and he had his dick out, yes, there would be.
Right.
But the same thing would apply if one of my coworkers that was a girl happened to have on fucking like she came out and her dress was hiked up above her waist. That's a sexual assault.
Right.
Too. It's the same fucking thing.
Right.
It's not a sexual assault, sexual harassment. But you understand.
But it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it never happens.
These things aren't happening. We're making up hypotheticals that are never happening,
happened.
and they're getting worked up about them.
Yeah.
In the culture that we're living in today. So the point being, and the science claims that women are not nearly as visually stimulated as men as a whole. Right. I know there are exceptions, etc. But so when you reverse it and it's sexual assault.
So when you reverse it, you have to be like women, you have to say to women, well, how about commitment? And they'll be like, sploosh. Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be sexual assault by the way you're describing it?
Well, especially when you consider the science of all of it. It's involuntary.
The science
of it.
We're going to take your word for the science of it.
It's involuntary. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's assault.
Now, let me say this.
Chemical assault.
Yeah.
It's chemical assault.
We're going to take
chemical assault.
Chemical assault. Yeah.
Chemical assault.
Women have mustard gas in their crotches. That's what. Yeah.
And we'll explain this in much more detail, but let me just go ahead and say you and I are not taking away any of the responsibility that every man has and every woman has, and particularly men, if they, maybe they're tempted to do something they shouldn't do, then walk away from the temptation, because if you give into it, you have to answer to the law and to the Lord and to yourself. And if you're married, to your wife and to your family. So we're not taking away from personal responsibility. We are just...
You're just blaming women.
You're just blaming women.
I'm not taking away from responsibility, but I'm still saying that women are putting men... His argument here is that it is a woman's fault.
Yeah.
If a man is attracted to her.
It's their fault if they wear something that triggers a man.
Right. What the fuck is like men are supposed to be walking around with like these hair triggered dick machines that are just like, whatever, I find attractive. I don't know what to do. I'm assaulted. Like constantly running around like I could go off at any moment, ladies.
Yeah.
Don't accidentally wear something I happen to like.
You're a hand grenade. Right. You're a hand grenade, and if all they have to do is walk by and they pull the pin. That's all there is.
And like, what the fuck? How are women supposed to, if this nonsensical, dystopian, nightmarish reality were actually the case, what would women have to do to appease this? Right. Like, because let's take this to the next. What are women supposed to wear? Is there a ubiquitously unattractive dress code?
Frock, like some sort of sexless frock they're supposed to wear.
Yeah,
like they're supposed to dress
burqa.
they're supposed to dress like fucking like Alice from the Brady Bunch. That's what they're supposed to.
That's the problem is, man, that somebody's into everything.
Yeah.
right? Somebody
Sure.
is into everything.
They got to dress like Maud from And Then There's Maud. Or whatever. 'Cause nobody's into B. Arthur, dude.
Right.
I'm sorry. Nobody.
Well, shouldn't our religious ideas stand up even under a scientific approach? I mean, either a thing is true or it isn't.
Well, certainly, but listen, Joe, there's some things we just have to accept on faith.
Just started some right-wing watch. Jonathan Cahn, the Bible foretold the death of Osama bin Laden.
Oh,
we love this guy. This is the Bible Torah, the Torah guy, right?
Torah. Yeah, he's a
Jewish guy. He's on Jim Baker's show all the time.
Yeah, and his book is called like the Prophecy or something. What is it called?
He's
again?
the Shemitah Schmiter.
Yeah. Oh, the Paradigm. The Paradigm is what it's called. It's like the Prophecy.
Yeah. He was the guy who was big into the Schmiegel before.
It's the paradigm.
Yeah.
Paradigm. Yeah, it's the paradigm.
We mentioned in another program, we mentioned the nemesis, or we mentioned the enemy. Well, but whatever happened to him?
Resident Evil. That's what happened to him.
Nice.
He was in the Nemesis project. They shot out a bunch of windows. Mila Jovovich slid underneath some sort of barricade and then shot things.
You had me at Mila Jovovich.
Oh, God. Good movies. Good, solid movies.
Sure.
I will say this, that I can't control myself around those movies.
When Osama bin Laden brought 9/11 to America, what happened?
He didn't bring it to America. He got a bunch of other people to bring planes to buildings, but he did not bring 9/11 to America. We always had a 9/11.
Right.
That's number one. We always had a 9/11 before it was significant.
Right.
We had one. And then he didn't bring it here like
it was somewhere else
or
first.
like the fucking first Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like a pilgrim brought a fucking, like one of those fucking hand turkeys or whatever.
I brought you a collapsed building.
I brought you this smallpox plague.
Brought 9/11.
Yeah.
Well, 9/11 used to be over there.
Yeah.
And now, before we went 9/10,
Guys, I just want you to
9/12.
know I brought you this 9/11.
We're the largest manhunt in the history of the world. And yet, if you remember, it went cold. I mean, they said he was.
Yeah, because he was in another country that didn't like us there.
Yeah,
It's
right.
super easy. And then he left there and went to a different country that was altogether completely
He
different.
had to hide. If I remember, he was in Pakistan, right?
They found him, but I mean,
Right.
like initially, like when we attacked, I think one of the reasons that they gave for attacking Afghanistan was because we asked the Taliban, if my memory serves me, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but I had thought we had like tried to communicate with the Taliban to be like, we want that dude. Can we have that dude? He claims like he did it. We'd like to talk to him. And they're like, no, fuck yourself. And then we attacked the Taliban. That's what I vaguely remember from all that shit that went down after 9/11. It was fucking 17 years ago. So
Right.
my memory could be off. But as I recall, Afghanistan was where we initially were searching for him.
Well, right, yeah, but that's what I mean. And then we didn't even find him there because he had moved from
'Cause it took a long
Afghanistan.
time, like 10 years later.
Right.
you
Plus,
know,
that
you
border is porous as fuck,
Sure,
and it's not well patrolled,
Yeah.
and it's mountainous and full of fucking caves. The trail didn't go cold. Like
It was never hot.
yeah, exactly.
It was never
right?
hot in the first place.
It's also like it's not like a hot lead if you know what country someone's in, right? Like,
so we need to go to Iraq.
like this isn't where in the world is Carmen San Diego.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, she's in Afghanistan. Found her.
Yeah.
Like,
He was in, Afghanistan. He's on a kidney dialysis. Nobody knew what happened to him. But the paradigm actually is going to sound crazy, but the paradigm actually reveals what would happen. And that is this. In the paradigm, the nemesis, the guy who brings destruction on the land, and in this case, bin Laden, in the ancient case, he was named Ben-Hadad.
Oh, very close names, Tom. I don't know if you noticed this.
What a coinkadink.
But Ben Haddad and Bin Laden, close.
So
close.
Phonetically, slightly similar.
He's confined to his quarters. He can't leave his quarters. So he.
Oh, okay. So that's very different than what Bin Laden was. All right. So these are not the same. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Already, Bin Laden left lots of places because we couldn't find him in the original places we looked because he had left those places.
Sure. Yeah. So Bin Laden, completely unrestricted by the globe. Got it. Okay. Moving
he
on.
uses messengers. Well, that's exactly what happened to Bin Laden. He couldn't leave. He had to do that.
He couldn't leave where?
He couldn't
left.
leave, and he had to use messengers.
He left the country.
Well, yeah. He's the leader. He doesn't like fly a building into a plane.
Fly a plane
into a building. He doesn't do that.
No.
The fuck is
he delegates.
He fucking, He's like, yeah, hey, you want 72 virgins?
Right. This motherfucker is management. He's not doing the work himself.
And when he lies on his bed, an assassination will begin. The paradigm says the nemesis will be assassinated. He's lying on his bed. The assassins draw near. Well, Osama bin Laden was lying on his bed in Pakistan when Navy SEAL assassins came near to the compound.
Is that?
Oh my
really,
God.
Is this what we're doing? 2 guys were assassinated. One guy really long time ago that had a similar name.
Also, like, if you're going to attack somebody by surprise, the best time to do that is when he's sleeping.
When he's nap times.
Like, we time these things in the middle of the night for a fucking reason. Because it doesn't give you time to react because you done been sleeping a moment ago.
And then in the paradigm, the nemesis, it will be executed in his bedroom. Well, what happened to Osama?
Again, that's right. Like, I'm not a military commando guy.
Yeah.
But
I'm not a Navy SEAL.
Right? But if it was like, hey, man, where you attack somebody? I don't know.
Let's do it at the discotheque.
Right.
Yeah, let's go out.
The kitchen.
What we should do is when they're around everyone else, it completely able to get away and slip into the crowd, we should try to kill them then? Or would you want to do it like in their house when they're by themselves?
Yeah, when they're least when they're the most comfortable, most relaxed, less likely to respond quickly.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be like,
less collateral damage.
Attack him in his gun room.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like,
does he have, no, hold on a second. We got to wait until he gets in his safe room.
Yeah,
then
right?
we're good. Yeah, if he's fucking Jodie Fosters himself up in there.
We're going to get him when he's at machine gun practice today. The fuck?
Bin Laden, he was literally killed in his own bedroom. But could the paradigm actually give the timing of when it would happen? The paradigm says this.
I bet after the fact it can.
Sure can.
I bet after the motherfucking fact.
10 years after this enemy brings destruction on the land, 10 years after, he will be assassinated. So when did Osama bin Laden bring destruction? The year was 2001.
September.
9/11. Add 10 years, takes you to the year 2011.
Yeah, but not in September. He got killed in May. So it's not 10 years, it's 9.5 years.
2011, Osama bin Laden is assassinated as in the paradigm.
9.5 years later. It's close. It's close.
I mean, I remember one time I had a pair of shoes that I wore and wore and wore and wore, and it just for years, these shoes did not wear out. And I wore them years and years and years. So, sometimes God is saying little epiphanies to us, little things to us, but we don't know how to listen to his voice.
Oh, God, this is the fucking shrillest. This woman's voice.
I love this woman.
This is Right Wing Watch. This is Cindy Jacobs.
Some people can't control themselves around women in skirts. I can't control myself around Cindy Jacobs. with her,
she sounds crazy.
What I love is her grandma haircut. I think that's my favorite part of her. Is her?
She's
grandma
got
haircut.
realtor grandma haircut.
She does have a realtor grandma haircut.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like 100% a realtor grandma.
Realtor grandma.
Bet. She just pulled cookies out of the oven.
And has an open house.
Yeah, she's had an open house, and she's going to pick the grandkids up from the pool later on in the day.
I will sell this house today.
Cindy Jacobs, this is the lady with the lots of spaghetti.
Do you see a supernatural aspect in his election?
There's no way he could have been elected if it wasn't supernatural.
I love that even his ardent supporters are like,
that's fair.
Oh, no. That shit was magic.
I was an atheist before Trump got, and now I believe in the devil.
Jesus. I do love it. Like, a candidate is so crazily unqualified that his own supporters are like, oh, no, man, that shit was just straight not going to happen otherwise.
It's funny because I'm going through some old shows of ours because of the Toaster Shakens show I'm going to put in. So, by the way, if you have any suggestions for Toaster Shakens this year, send them to us, dissonance.podcast@gmail.com. Any of your favorite segments of the last calendar year, send them to me. And I'm going to be, your suggestions for your favorite bits that we did over the last calendar year. But I'm going through some of the older ones, and I'm listening to specifically some of the things, and it's always, especially right after he got elected, there's all these people that are talking to, not only is it a shock that he got elected and like Jesus had to make sure that happened, but then they're also just like always apologizing for like, he's the United One, but he's kind of fucked up. They're constantly doing that. And it's the same thing here. We're already like 9+ months into a Trump presidency, and this is what they're saying about him is like, well, he sucks.
It's been almost a year. They're still like, yeah, we still aren't over this. Like, we have no idea how this happened.
We don't know how it happened. We're not responsible.
Right. Maybe it was magic dust mites. We don't know.
Donald Trump became the comeback kid from things that politically take, most people down.
Yeah, because he said he sexually assaulted a woman. He made fun of a realtor with palsy.
Yeah.
He's like, He is the work. He did come back from things that take most people. A reporter. Thank you. What did I say?
A realtor.
A realtor.
He can survive one after the other.
Had you predicted or prophesied his election before the election?
No one did. Nobody
This is
did.
gonna be. This is the best.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
This audio is about to happen.
I didn't think I did, but
I didn't think so.
And then somebody told me I did. And I did. I did after. In fact, somebody told me I did.
actually I did. Someone reminded me that it's...
I didn't know what I said. I was just up on stage vomiting out my face hole some garbage that I fucking regurgitate every week to the fucking to all the people in the audience that are ready to get spoon fed this garbage. And I just so happened somebody reminded me, you did actually.
You accidentally in your desperation to string a series of words together haphazardly to form semi-coherent meanings, you accidentally once post hoc made sense. If we think about it, that's it.
If we give you the benefit of the doubt here, Cindy,
and also if you're a credulous dipshit,
exactly.
The New Year's celebration at Chuck Pierce's, the year before the election, I had prophesied, and the Lord says, I have a trump card in my hand, and I'm going to...
God played spades.
Why is God playing fucking euchre? What the fuck? I mean, I understand, like it makes sense that Hillbilly God would play euchre. He'd be like, I got both dollars. I got them both. I'm going to bid up. But I understand that makes sense. Euchre even sounds like what he would say. But why
I got a dog named Euchre. I like it that much.
Card up in my hand.
I don't approve of gambling, but here is an explicit reference to games of chance.
Yeah, exactly. How many points you bid?
And I'm going to trump the system. And I didn't even,
And then I said, Trump. And I don't know. I didn't think about it till later.
And then I was like, that's weird.
I didn't even recall it, sad to say.
So wait. So on the one hand, Cindy Jacobs gets this thing for this pipeline from God that says in Beebe, Arkansas, there's a bunch of drumfish that died, and those drumfish happen to be in the same state that Bill Clinton was the governor of, and that's all leads back to Clinton banging Monica Lewinsky or whatever she was talking about, right? Like it's a big long string of crazy shit that has to lead you back Nostradamus style all the way back to the beginning. In this case, it's like, nope, I basically said his last name.
I said his last name several times in a row in a message from God. I have to think that. Is she talking to God so frequently she's tuning it out?
Yeah.
She's like God is like a fucking nagging housewife. She's like, oh my God, I fucking get it. Whatever the thing you said is. You can't even remember the prophecies?
It's funny because they didn't mention when we had the previous Republican president a burning bush. Right. You know what I mean? Easily you could have had a Bush reference, right? Because his name means something. You're not going to have an Obama reference because that name doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
A Clinton, that name doesn't mean anything. Right. But Trump and Bush happen to be things.
Right.
They're a thing. So it's easy to make a prophecy about a thing.
Yeah, about a word that's part of the common parlance.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
But, I felt that there was, in retrospect, and sometimes it's like that with prophetic. In retrospect, you see, what God was trying to say.
Yeah, that's how fucking prophecy works all the time because you never do it in the forward.
I know, it's always in retrospect.
You never do it in the forward.
Yeah. Later when I took a look at the words that I said that somebody reminded me that I said that maybe I didn't actually say, first of all.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't
didn't even remember
them, right?
Yeah. Tell me what fucking plane's going to crash so nobody gets on that plane.
So just if she can predict the weather 6 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Just give me that. Yeah. Is it going to give me the temperature and the precipitation?
Yeah, the temperature
6 weeks from now.
Yeah, the temperature range
in 3 locations.
Yeah.
It's easy, right? Yeah. That's something that computer models they've got this shit 5 days out, right?
Yeah,
reasonable. Yeah, 5 days out. Computer modeling can do it, which means that it's a knowable. We just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
So that's an easy ask. It's just we'll get there eventually. Yeah. We just need better computers. I fully expect that by the time I'm 60 or 70, we'll know the weather a month out, right? Because it's knowable information. It's just how many variables are taken into account. So you're God. You're actual God. Give me the weather. Yeah. They can't even give you that. much less the complexity of human behaviors and interactions.
Well,
Are you fucking kidding me?
Give me the important stuff, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem is, you're getting, if
but
you
they
are
can't give you the
prophetic,
trivial.
They can't even give you trivial, but if you're prophetic and you're giving me, oh, this person's going to be president, fuck that. Who fucking cares about that? I care about what train's going to derail. I care about what fucking plane's going to fly into buildings.
Yeah.
I care about what concert I shouldn't go to because there's going to be a fucking active shooter. That's what we should care about. I care about what street fair I shouldn't go because some fucking asshole's going to drive his fucking truck down it. Those are the things that people should care about. You're never fucking prophetic about that. You're never a moment prophetic about people actually being in danger. Never once does that happen.
Well, and they're always prophetic in this, like, purposely confusing way.
Yeah.
Like, God has access to the entirety of the English language.
Yeah.
Why can't he speak clearly and simply? Be like, on September 11th, 2011, in the morning in New York, some motherfuckers are going to fly some planes into the buildings.
Right.
Like, they never tell you that. It's always just like the eagle of gold has landed in a tree and then the tree falls over. And you're just like, what the fuck do you want me to do with this fucking crazy information?
Yeah.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Right Wing Watch. Sandy Rios, George Soros may have crashed the U.S. economy in 2008 in order to elect Obama.
That's weird. How do you crash the economy as a person?
Well, as a billionaire, then billionaire. The middle part is a little confusing, so I left it out.
I would say that you would have, certainly as a billionaire, if you were to wage all of your wealth at something, would be able to influence.
Do you think so?
I think
because the economy's
I'm not saying the economy. I'm saying influence parts of the economy. You almost certainly would be able to.
If you waged
it all.
Yeah.
If you put it all out there. But these guys don't ever do that.
Yeah, no.
These people don't understand how money works. They just don't get it.
No. And no, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And I don't think they understand how economics work.
Yeah. Well, this is Sandy.
George Soros has single-handedly destroyed the economies of two different nations.
That motherfucker's got more power.
Tell you what.
Which nation?
Jesus! Not only is he doing that, but he's also got the bullet points for all the Antifa members too.
Right, and he's organizing the Black Lives Matter protests. And this guy is. When does he sleep? God damn.
He went after the stock market in England, and there was one other country. Can't remember which one it was.
You only have to remember two. You only have to remember two.
Just like, he did it, but I'm not going to tell you what country it was.
He went after the stock. How did he go after the stock market?
How do you go after the stock market of the UK?
I'm going to attack it with what? With buying stuff? Like, did he buy billions of dollars worth of specific stocks
and then devalue his own money?
Right?
It doesn't even.
What?
I mean, like, look. Like I said, I'm sure that there are ways to manipulate some prices on a tiny corner of the market. But the idea that you're going to tank an entire fucking country's fucking economy by one person?
Especially a country as diverse and economically robust as England.
Yeah.
One dude.
The other country was like Liechtenstein or something.
It was the country of the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah, exactly.
I met with the president there.
It was me. They held up a mirror and I pecked at it.
Then I shat on a stick.
He manipulates. And some people, Tim, believe that, now I can't corroborate. I can't confirm this.
Right.
You can't corroborate or confirm any of the things that you said.
This is good, though. This is wild speculation. This is what we live for.
She can't, not only can she not confirm or corroborate, she can't even complete the names of both of the countries.
You can't even connect the two dots to make a line.
Right. Sarah Palin at least wrote the shit on her hand.
Exactly.
But some people believe that George Soros' fingerprints were on that 2008 stock market. Bottom fell out of everything, crashed. That really probably paid.
The stock market was not the problem, though.
Yeah, it was the housing market. The housing market.
It's not the stock market.
The George Bush told everybody to invest in housing in their own house and in other places, and then a bunch of people took out a bunch of loans that couldn't sustain themselves, and it was the housing market.
It was the housing market and the housing market's relation to the banking industry
and the flipping
wild
industry.
speculation.
The flipping industry is what a lot of people are pointing to now, is like people buying and selling houses and flipping those houses and inflating prices of real estate. And it just didn't have that actual price. That price was not there. That cost of that real estate, it was not actually there.
Yeah, it had nothing. This was not a problem of Wall Street.
Yeah.
I mean, it hit Wall Street.
Hit Wall Street.
But it did not originate because of Wall Street.
This also goes back to them cutting up those loans into those big
tranches and
those
selling
tranches,
them. Right. Yeah. And then, the devalue or the inflated value of those, Moody's evaluations and bad evaluations of, those profiles. None of this had anything to do with stock prices.
Yeah.
This was real estate related.
Yeah, and that real estate market was huge.
Yeah.
It was huge, way bigger than the billions of dollars that George Soros had.
Absolutely.
The way for Barack Obama to become president. So I don't know that, but
what did that have to do with it?
Yeah, well, and the thing is like Barack Obama, none of those problems with the economy. The economy was already starting to tank by the time Obama took over.
Oh, it had tanked.
So the idea that like it just swung just well enough just for him to take over. Like people saw that tanking. It was a slow motion car accident. People knew it was happening long before it ever happened.
Yep.
People knew years before it ever happened.
Yep.
Tom, you told me in 2004 the economy was going to tank. You said the economy is going to shit itself. I remember having this conversation in 2004. You're not an economist. You just recognized all the symbols that every other fucking economist in the world recognized.
Yeah.
But there was so many people who were just like, yeah, we're going to clear cut the fuck out of this thing. I'm going to make as much money as I can in the short term.
Right. I mean, I the only reason I could see it, I think, is because I happened to be in the industry that caused it. Like I was on the ground floor of the industry that I knew would not. It was an unsustainable.
You knew it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and it was the thing that sustained my livelihood.
Sure.
And I watched it collapse upon itself. But how did that elect Obama?
I don't know. That's the thing. Is
Obama won the election against Romney?
Yeah, it was around
Romney.
No, it was the first one was McCain, and then it was Romney.
Yeah, okay. So why did it not elect McCain? Because everybody was mad at Bush for crashing the. Like, I don't even understand how it's connected.
Has certainly been very successful doing tanking other national money markets.
Other ones I can't name, but they just they're there.
And she can neither confirm nor corroborate this wild claim, right?
Because he manipulates stocks. He has the kind of money that can do that. And
no, he doesn't.
No, not a thing.
I mean, well, yeah, maybe a stock. I'm sure he can manipulate a stock,
right?
Pretty easily.
But
maybe he can manipulate several stocks, but he can't manipulate the stock market.
It's crazy.
To think about it, Tim, I mean, the world is filled with George Soros and not with his money.
Yeah.
It's filled with George Soros?
That's gross.
That's what stinks. I don't mean that, George. Become $1 million patron.
But that's why communism has such a root and has still survived after the
George Soros, the communist? Is that what we're talking about?
Are we communists? Did I miss a memo where we're now communists?
Look,
George,
if you pay me $1 million a show, I'll be a communist. Yeah. I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to start this experiment, George.
I love the idea that you will have a free market response that makes you a communist. You'd be like, I will buy a thing that makes me communist. It's like, what?
It's like a communist gift bag with a hammer and sickle on it.
These many decades. Thriving, in fact. And now finding its new voice in a violent movement called Antifa. So,
but you think about it.
Yeah, that's George Soros' problem. That's George Soros did all that.
Yeah.
A secular, well, you call him a Jewish atheist. That's his family history. He's Jewish by birth, but an atheist. That's almost an oxymoron, isn't it? A Jewish atheist?
Oh, there are lots of Jewish.
No, being Jewish by birth is a cultural.
That's a cultural thing.
Right. It has nothing to do with your sincerely held religious belief or lack of religious belief.
Eli's an atheist Jew.
Right.
Yeah.
Atheists. They've done some of the ACLU is filled with Jewish atheists.
Yeah.
And they are very proudly Jewish, but they do not consider their Jewish identity to be religious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So what?
It's not complicated.
Yeah.
It's not even interesting.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I know. But it's just, he does hate God in his heart.
Yes.
God,
how do you know?
Yeah. Well, and also, there's not a lot of atheists that hate God.
That's a myth, too, right?
Because they don't believe in him. How do you hate something that doesn't exist? It's like being mad at Santa Claus.
Right. I don't know.
Didn't give me a sled when I was fucking 10.
Yeah, I think there are some people who are angry at religious figures. I think there are people that are angry at the way that they were brought up.
Sure.
I think that, but that's not being angry at God.
No.
Because God isn't real. It's that that God is not dead movie got into that. Like, I hate, like the atheist was
I'm mad at God.
Right.
Yeah, and
because he made my wife die.
Made my wife die. Made my grandma die. My cat died. Not be mad.
That's actually, yeah.
But it's like, nobody says that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, if you are angry at God, you're not an atheist.
Yeah.
Because you think there's God.
Yeah. You can be an anti-Christian, I guess.
Sure. You can be a Christian who hates God.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But you can't be an atheist who hates God. You wouldn't be an atheist anymore.
Out of the Bible, because no one is an atheist gets up in the morning or lives their life looking towards what? What really? Nothing, right?
Wait, what?
I don't know. Like,
I get up in the morning looking towards nothing? No, when I get up in the morning, I look towards the bathroom because I normally have to
pee, right?
I have to pee. I have to pee every morning. It's my thing. It's my jam.
Is he saying like there's like nothing worth getting up for because you're an atheist?
Oh man, that's totally the exact opposite.
Right.
Like I feel so lucky and amazed that these molecules all go together in a thing to make me be. I'm fucking excited about that all the time.
I feel an intense pressure to my mortality.
Yeah.
I feel the clock every minute of the day.
Yeah.
My mortality, because I don't think that I die and go someplace else.
Right.
I don't think that I get a second chance to do well. I don't think that I have any and I have no illusions that I'm guaranteed old age.
Yeah.
I feel an intense and constant pressure, time pressure, as a result of my mortality.
Yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of atheists feel that.
That's what I mean. Like that's the like, why would you get up? Why would you do things? Well, because I only get one shot and maybe I die this afternoon.
Yeah.
And so if I have something to say, I got to say it.
Yeah.
And if there's somebody I got to love them.
Yeah.
And if there's, like if there's something I have to do, I got to do it. And I have to do it all right now. Because if I die, I never get another chance ever.
Yeah.
That is unique to the atheist worldview.
Yeah. I don't get a second. I don't get a do-over.
Right. I don't get to go up in heaven.
Reincarnated.
Right.
I'm not going up to heaven. I'm all the other like myths that people believe.
Right.
Right. Except, Tim, I guess that in many ways, to me, that always explains the difference between Christians / conservatives. They're not the same necessarily, as we both know.
But I'll combine them anyway.
Liberals / atheists. Because they live for today. That's why they fight so hard. That's why they never quit.
What about the EPA? What about environmental protection? Almost all the liberals are for that. And every atheist I've ever talked to, I've never talked to any atheist that is like, and I'm child free. Like, I'm child free, man. I don't have any fucking, no more DNA of me is here. I fucking, I'm gone. I still think all of that is super fucking important. Super duper important. Even if it doesn't affect me, even if 50 years from now is when we start feeling the real serious effects and I'm already dead, it still matters to you. It still matters to me. I still want it to stop. Everything, I think this is the exact opposite. I think I see the conservatives way more as clear cut the economy. What I want is I want lower taxes. I don't ever want to think about, I want what's best for me right now.
Yeah, quarterly returns.
I want to look forward only to the quarter. I don't want to look forward to 20 years down the road.
Right.
So I'm not going to fund a high-speed rail. I'm not going to fund, infrastructure changes that are complete and, completely change this country. I'm not going to fund, any of the green energy that's coming out. I'm not doing any of that.
Right.
I want coal because it's money now in my pocket. I want oil because it's money now in my pocket. I want no regulations because I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. And I don't give a shit if I fucking pour bleach into the fucking water. Doesn't matter to me. I don't fucking care.
Yep.
I see that way more on the other side than I see it on this side.
Yep.
Way more.
And because they feel that when they breathe their last breath, this is it. So they make the most of it, and they manipulate circumstances because they think this is
manipulate circumstances. What does that even mean?
I don't know, but I agree with her. Like, she's echoing what I said. Yeah,
sure.
I believe that this is it. Yeah, absolutely.
This is all there is. And Christians and / conservatives believe in God, and they trust Him, and they don't try to manipulate every event in their own lives and in the world because they believe that there's a God who's sovereign.
So are they just passive?
What do you just fucking go through life and be like, I don't give a fuck.
Whatever happens, doesn't matter to me.
My hands.
Right?
I just think atheists wouldn't be motivated by much of anything at all because we are nothing, we're going nowhere, and there's no purpose or meaning to life.
So we're not all nihilists. It doesn't even make any sense.
Atheism and nihilism don't even have a relationship.
It's such, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there are nihilists out there. I'm sure there are some atheist nihilists. Who fucking cares?
Right. No, the thing is, like, I don't actually know any.
I don't either, but I'm not saying that they don't exist.
But
sure.
I think, like, even anecdotally, I don't know any. I don't know any. Like, and the idea, like you said, like, you're child free, right? Yeah. I'm hazarding a guess, but my guess is that the reason that you care is because you're an empathetic person. The reason you care if things go well after your demise is the same reason that you care that people that aren't you generally are treated well, and people that aren't you live good lives. Future generations are people that aren't you,
that aren't me,
right?
Yeah.
Like, we have a responsibility to each other as members of a species and as a society and as a whole.
Sure.
That's just basic fucking human empathy.
Yeah.
It's not even complex.
Yeah, it's really not.
Chimpanzees have
you
this.
You don't need any book to tell you that.
Right.
You can go through life without any book to tell you the right or wrong and know that that's right.
What I'm saying?
Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we shall die. That's the...
George Soros is eat, drink, and be merry and bring down America.
Yeah, well, that's his sport, and that's the sport. It's all, you know, in communism.
That's a weird sport.
That is a weird sport. Bring down America is a weird sport because, like, you know, you have to decide when they get penalized, when they don't get penalized.
Yeah, who referees that?
Yeah, I think Canada. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this show that we recorded well in advance. We are, at this point, probably either leaving or coming back from or are on our routes to Australia. The live show has happened or hasn't happened yet. We're not sure. But we're going to be back. We're going to be starting some brand new shows when we come back in December. But we are, like we said, we recorded some of these shows ahead of time so that we could have some things that can drop while we're gone. So we look forward to our new shows. And we hope you enjoyed this one. We're going to be back next week. But before we leave you, we're going to leave you like we always do with the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter, mommy issue, hypno-Babylon bullshit. Couched in scientician, double bubble, toil and trouble, pseudo quasi-alternative, acupunctuating, pressurized, stereogram, pyramidal, free energy healing, water downward spiral, brain deadpan, sales pitch, late night info docutainment. Leo, Pisces, cancer cures, detox, reflex, foot massage, death in towers, tarot cards, psychic healing, crystal balls, Bigfoot, Yeti, aliens, churches, mosques and synagogues, temples, dragons, giant worms, Atlantis, dolphins, truthers, birthers, witches, wizards, vaccine nuts, shaman healers, evangelists, conspiracy, doublespeak, stigmata, nonsense. Expose your sides. Thrust your hands, bloody, evidential, conclusive. Doubt even this.
The opinions and information provided on this podcast are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of Glory Hole Studios, LLC. Cognitive Dissonance makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, currentness, suitability, or validity of any information and will not be liable for any errors, damages, or butthurt arising from consumption. All information is provided on an as-is basis. No refunds. Produced in association with the local Dairy Council and viewers like you.